All right, I get it. You want motorhomes? Fine. We are going to bring you a Mac Daddy motorhome, baby. Hey everybody, Josh the RV Nerd here with Bish's RV, taking a look at a beautiful 37K Seneca, my personal favorite Seneca floor plan. It is a bath and a half with a rear master bath ensuite. And what I think is really cool about that is whether you're traveling with friends, family, or maybe you just met some folks at the campground when you pulled in and they want to come check out your Seneca and you have dinner or you play some cards or something like that together. It has that kind of traveling or guest half bath where it really says this is the living room, and then here in the back is my personal private quarters. These are not your father's Class C motorhome. So first of all, we're on a heavy-duty Freightliner chassis with a Allison 6-speed transmission, which is just legendary if you know anything about those. 6.7-liter Cummins 360 horsepower diesel on this. Like huge tow capacities, like what is it, like a 41,000 pound GCW, 22.5-inch tires. Just, this thing is bulky. But the thing is, all that heavy duty ruggedness, it's all hidden under just a beautiful sort of like luxury interior. You don't feel like you're driving this super tough machine down the road because it just glides. It is one of the best handling, best riding series of motorhomes I've ever been in. I've done a lot of different test drives in various Class C's and Class A's from different brands. And there's certainly some things like Newmars out there that just feel like they glide down the road. But something this size, normally, like if you just attach one of those little bobblehead or hula skirt girls to your dashboard, they're gonna be wiggle wobbling all over the place. I'm not gonna tell you it is smooth as glass on this thing, but you don't feel like you're getting shook all over the place. And that's one of the other things I like about these, because the whole structure, the chassis, the cabinetry is not getting jiggle banged around the whole time, because the suspension, all of that stuff is soaking up those shocks and jolts. It just feels so smooth, and it helps the whole thing hold together better, longer, stronger. I have got so much to cover on this. There is no way I'm going to possibly cover every nut, bolt, and widget on this. I'm going to do my best. If you have questions, leave me a couple comments. If you'd like to see how much one of these is running, I'll leave you links to the video description. And I got to shut up. We got to get going. Man, there's a lot to go on this thing.
I mean, it's cold. It is icy and freezing outside. But just the general, it must just be the general insulation pack on this, because it's not like this thing is, we haven't had the furnace running. It is comfortable in here to the point that, like, I'm hot with this stuff. Just immediately impressive. Imagine what this is going to do for you in hot summer climates. Yeah.
But man, oh man, do we have a lot to cover. If I were you, I would, I'd pop some popcorn. This is, I don't know, this might end up being a long one. Like I said, there's no way I can cover every single thing, but boy, there's a lot to cover here. Let's just start right from the top down. How about the fact that this thing has more lights than an NFL stadium? I mean, holy cow in this thing. And the control system that operates your lights, your fans, your slides, and just monitors, and like generators and all that stuff. You can, like, one button turn on or turn off all of the lights in the entire coach, because a lot of like light management systems, they'll only get the main cabin. They won't get these little extras. This does those extra little things, very similar to like what you might have seen in some of our Cedar Creek fifth wheel videos recently. Standard, we have a 30,000 BTU dual Coleman quiet air system here, so something that can absolutely keep up with this. And with what I'm feeling already in here, the temperature variance from inside to outside, I am absolutely believing it is up to the task of getting the job done well. Soft touch ceiling liner knocks a ton of noise out of this thing. And that's actually one of the interesting things. I just stepped in from outside and right next to the road, basically, and it's just like dead silent in here. Actually, let me see if I can get you a before and after of that. It's crazy different, isn't it? It's crazy different. There's no microphone magic, no editing magic happening there. By the way, you do have not only just a big window in the entry door, but a full privacy shade if you want to pull that down. But like a lot of trailers, you got to like open the door, close the screen door, mess with the shade. I think most people, once they find where they want to leave it, they're just going to call it good. So here's that master management system I was telling you about. I really like this. Like I said, I'm starting to see this penetrate the RV market, and I like to see it. But again, one of my favorite features is just all of the lights on, off. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, that is so cool. I didn't realize this generation water heater, you can control different temperatures like front to back or bathroom versus kitchen. That is awesome. What do I think of next? Phones that fit in your pocket? Who could imagine such a thing? That front cab there, having that window inset into it, almost imperceptible from the outside with the current paint package. But like, whether you're going down the road or you're at your destination, the views that it can give you are awesome. Now, in case you're carrying, carrying, I don't know. There's that black bag up there below that window, and you're like, what is that? Those are like the blockout shades for, say, like your windshield and stuff like that, if you want to privatize things. Now, I've got the ladder just kind of hanging off the mattress. That's not where it belongs. That right there is a good example of where that ladder belongs. And you notice that front overhead bed has a little, hey, don't fall out of bed safety net on there for the next time Uncle Gary ties one on and you got to throw them up in the bunk overnight. Obviously, we've got a privacy curtain for the upper bunk as well. But look at the little details here. This, did you notice when it was in bunk mode, that shade was down? It's got a forward power shade. So, if you want to make, if someone up there, they don't want to get cooked like an ant under a magnifying glass, or if you're driving into the sun and it's bothering somebody, you can blot that out. There's cup holders, household plugs. By the way, this RV has a 2,000 watt inverter run to all the outlets. So you can run pretty much any household thing you want just off the battery power, and anything that it wouldn't handle, remember, you always got the generator you can fire up. With that Freightliner chassis, one of the things I love about it is it's got just bigger, thicker, cushier, more comfortable seats. Again, I have personally test driven different rigs. This is among my personal favorite like chassis and like style of things to drive because it's just such a more comfortable experience. You got your little touchscreen navigation infotainment system, controls for our equalizer leveling system right there as well. And again, when you're looking at the Freightliners here, we have that 6-speed Allison push-button shift transmission and the 6.7 liter Cummins diesel with 360 horsepower. What's kind of cool about that? You want to go up and down mountains? She's got the power to go up and down mountains. Flipping around the other direction, I love that accent lighting overhead there. There's also similar accent lighting under the kitchen cabinetry, or the countertop, as it were. We're going to come back to the kitchen. First, I want to kind of sweep around the living space. There are two things specifically on the interior of this RV. If I'm going to be picky, these are, if I could change two things, I would convert it over to carpetless instead of the carpeted slides. It's kind of surprising to me, actually, that a J-Flight SLX, the most basic towable Jayco, has a carpetless slide, but this big, beautiful Super C does not. The motorized divisions, the towable divisions, are completely separate entities, effectively, though. I'm sure that's one of those things they've got to be working on, I would have to imagine. All the windows have day-night roller shades, and in case you're curious about decors, this has two different options. So if all of the browns, if the brown on brown on brown isn't working for you, although it is kind of nice, homey, and very warm, brown can seem a little dull sometimes, but I also think it's timeless. I don't think we'll ever see it leave the RV industry. The modern farmhouse Jayco decor is also available in here. Well, let's check this entertainment center. Whether you're over at the dinette, whether you're over here at the what I'm going to call the straight couch, because if you remember back years ago, whether it was Winnebago or Jayco or whoever was making floor plans like this, it would have like an L-shaped sectional sofa. Well, a lot of people just felt it was a little too bulky, and they hated kind of trying to pull half of it in and out. So they just went away from that, basically, and just went to a straight couch, and it suddenly became ultra popular. And frankly, I prefer this arrangement. I feel like it's less intrusive, and it makes the whole RV look and feel a little bit bigger. I really like it, personally. What do you guys think about that, though? That's just my 2 cents. Dinette over here. I believe this specific version of the Dream Dinette system is Jayco exclusive. I could be wrong about that, but it is gas strutted to help make it go up and down easier. But notice it doesn't have the big bulky hardware, which is going to be a knee wrecker for long-legged people like me. And notice how even that table is a solid surface, just like the kitchen. But if we're going to talk about the kitchen, we actually almost have to begin over here in the slide out. Because this is where a very generously sized pantry is located. So when you look at the, I guess you call it the kitchen proper, sometimes you kind of feel like maybe you're missing out on something like that. And as long as we're opening all the storage, right over here by the door, we do have a handy little coat closet. There's a pair of what look like Alien Invader coat hangers in there. That's a technical term from the RV nerd there for you. Solid surface kitchen counters. This is an induction cooktop, so kind of keep that in mind. In case you're curious, why does that matter? You don't use the same pots and pans necessarily on an induction system that you would use on a like traditional cooking system. So, you know, maybe you already have some of that stuff, maybe you don't. I'm looking at that TV remote in that drawer, and it's kind of reminding me that this is an Insignia Smart TV. I don't know if I mentioned that. I do think that's something somebody might want to learn. Of course, big convection microwave up here. Which is important. If we're going to do any sort of baking for our cookies and biscuits, you're going to need that thing. Now, in a towable RV, that could pose a problem, not having a traditional oven and only having the induction. And again, a coach like this with a generator that can run anything, I think less of an issue. Now, let's talk refrigerators. We are looking at the optional gas-electric two-way fridge. This RV was originally ordered specifically for a customer who, in the meantime, we located something else for them. So it basically fell into our inventory. The standard fridge in a Seneca is a 21 cubic foot residential refrigerator. So this is the optional fridge that we're looking at today. If you're like, I hate that two-way fridge, I want a residential, that's normal. We can get you that. What we're looking at here today is just an example of a Seneca. What is neat, though, is apparently Jayco has found, again, a supplier for an ice maker in these two-way fridges, because right at the beginning of the pandemic, their original supplier basically closed their doors. Now, the TV we kind of talked about, but notice how it does pivot around. So if you're sitting over at the dining or standing at the kitchen cooking, you're not necessarily left out of the action. And I figure as long as we're opening everything up, we'd take a look up in here. Let me give you some quick cabinet construction points. Once again, I love that accent lighting. This is a nice hardwood frame out. I like the metallic struts. They're also using nicer hidden hinges to keep everything kind of really in place and looking clean. It is a all wood cabinet style and rail. It does have a sticker wrap on it. I just want to help clarify that for some folks. If you were curious about that or if you found that useful, leave me a little note that says thanks, like our video, and we will hop back, well, not too far, to the half bath.
Or we were going to. Look at this.
Because I was closing up all the cabinets, and I went, huh, they really went to a lot of effort boxing in that window. Which, by the way, standard on this, you have dual pane windows, which is adding more to the noise dampening. But I was like, they really went aggressive on boxing that in, and then I noticed the little finger tab in there, and I realized that it's a little kind of set of hidden spice towers, or whatever you want to call them. I love that they just use the space smartly. Otherwise, it was just going to be wasted wall space. I love it. I'm a fan. Anyway, moving on back to the half bath. All right, enough of that. That was an awesome trip, wasn't it? Now, remember I said this RV is available in 2 decors. The bathroom will always be farmhouse, whereas I believe the master bedroom will always be the brown on brown on brown. I'm just blanking on the name of it. I've seen so many RVs and decors recently here. This half bath, nicely spacious. I was very pleased with that. And there's something about a window in a bathroom that just churches the place up. Kind of like the carpet in the slide floor sort of surprised me. Not having a bigger vent fan in this half bath also surprised me. Again, considering the level of unit we're looking at right here. But not a terribly difficult thing for us to work out for you. What's also kind of cool, at night, if you turn off the, wrong switch, the main lighting, you've got little accent lighting inlaid into the sink right here. So if you have guests in your RV that aren't really familiar with it, you can give them a little point of reference that will cast enough light into the RV they'll be able to see around. Again, 30,000 BTU air system, but that is two 15s, one front, one rear, just to kind of help clarify that statement. The bed slide over here. I love the storage overhead in the slide, and what's really kind of interesting about this is that it has one of those like power kind of systems where the head of the bed slides upward. And what's neat about that is you need to do that for transit. We will see this RV in road mode in a minute. But when you're at your destination, you can actually create a nice little padded boot bench or a place to sit down and put on your pants or something like that. And in case you're wondering why it looks so bulked up and bubbly at the foot of the bed, it's because there's plastic packaging on the mattress still. So it's not really like level down there. You're not seeing the actual mattress. You're seeing just an air bubble. A little look at the bed down here. One of the cool things about this too is because the bed sucks up into the slide like that for transit, that means that this is a 72 by 80 king bed that does not fold. Now, keep in mind, if you want to put a different mattress or something on there, you're going to have to get something that can probably bend a little bit. Where you are not going to have to bend, you like that segue, is on how much stuff you're bringing with you on transit, in transit, I don't know, over transit, I don't care. We begin with quad-tacular dresser drawers. And remember I said there were two things, if I'm being picky, I would change? This is the other one. I would really like to see a light under that overhead TV cabinet. That just feels like a little bit of a dark alcove right there. But, I mean, I'm being nitpicky about this stuff, obviously. This RV, you see, you've got a nice big hanging closet on the right. Nice little, hidden treasure chest behind the TV. Then this over here can either be dual closets or it can be combo or stackable washer dryer. You can really kind of pick your own adventure with this thing. And that is another one of those features that I think really lends itself well to those folks who are going to snowbird, sunbird, or even full-time hit the road and go. That is also, by the way, the reason that those doors are slatted to, allow the proper airflow for the washer dryer system. Now, over here, we got ourselves a porcelain foot flush stool. But I want you to look at where the shower door is right now, and then take a look at this photo. Notice how I slid the shower door forward. That was to give myself maximized elbow room. If you're a little bit smaller, maybe you don't have to do that. If you're a bigger person, that is an option that you have available on this one. You got some nice height adjustable shower hardware in here. So if you're like me and my wife, where there is like an 11.5-inch variance between the two of us, you can always make sure that, everything's where you want it. Great headroom in this shower too. That is something I really appreciated on that. And then as we work our way over here, some awesome adjustable linen and or toiletry space, which I think was a really cool touch on here. Now you have the same accent light inlaid into the sink in this bathroom that you have in the half bath. And I wanted to mention that because apparently I forgot to display it until just now. Great place for that outlet there next to that bigger chunk of counter space. And because there's nothing directly behind the sink, you can really square yourself right up to the sink and get yourself ready to go. All right, so you've been driving for a while. You pull in, maybe you're making a little overnight kind of stop, or you're just making a, in-transit rest stop. This is really, I think, one of the ultimate definitions of road mode when you're in a motorhome. What can we not access? As is typically the case with bath and a half models like this, where the master bath is behind the master bedroom, or I guess in this case, the only bedroom, although you do have that over cab bunk. You could crawl over the bed to get back there, but you don't really need to, since there is that half bath in the, across from the sofa. Now, again, this is one of those, power incline kind of beds. And that means that they have a 72 by 80 mattress here, which is kind of cool. It's something that if you replace the mattress, provided it's not too stiff, you could still use the power incline function. But remember, you have to put the bed up to be able to close the slide properly, unless you're going to get real creative somehow with a mattress. So again, just keep little things like that in mind if you go switching things out. For travel, once again, you know, we have the half bath available over here. And speaking of travel, something else we haven't looked at, which is a big deal at Jayco, is what they do with their seatbelts. Now, I didn't get this one exactly staged so that you can see, but one of the cool things they do here is they're very specific about this. They put seatbelts in every seating position. Jayco's are one of the few brands that do that. So like you've got 3 seatbelts there in the sofa, you've got 2 facing forward on the dinette, but one of the things they do that not everyone does because they're not required to do is include seatbelts for the rear-facing dinette seats over here. And that's one of the cool things on these, because if you look, we've already got 5 places to sit, plus you have the, you know, the 2 cab chairs. That gives us a seatbelt capacity for 7. Now, here's a couple really cool details about that. Not only can you safely transit as many or potentially more people than this thing can actually reasonably sleep, Jayco overrates every one of their seatbelts. When you start throwing seatbelts into things, you're in some very specific government regulations. Every one of their seatbelts is tested for 10% more than what it's required to maintain in terms of like pull strength and testing. There is one caveat I want to give you here, though. At the time of this filming, they do not have good mounting points for things like car seats. So that is one of those areas that you're going to have to really kind of consider, like, how old is everybody? How are we transporting, you know, babies when you're getting around? I have heard it is something they're working on, so it's very possible that even shortly after this video comes out, they've already added seatbelt mounting or car seat mounting points. At the time of this filming, though, that is something that this RV does not currently do. I really want to make sure that that information is put out there, because what I am not going to do is say half a truth and hurt a baby, basically, with that half-truth information. That is an absolute line I will never cross. I always want you to know that when it comes to things like safety information, I am always going to do my very best to try to give you all of the different angles to consider you can possibly get. If you like little facts like that, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Let's hop outside and take a look at that gorgeous Sickens paint package. And I mean, just from the base level, just the cab and the chassis area on this, it just looks like it's gonna eat your lunch. It just looks bad, but like bad in a good way, like the like the Bad Boys when the Pistons were winning a bunch of championships. It just has that kind of look and feeling to me. Now, the Freightliner chassis right here, one of the cool things about that, you know, the bulkier nature of it, the more power that it has. This is something where if you're looking to tow a little bit more than, say, 5,000 pounds like most motorhomes are rated for. Now, that being said, most Jayco Class Cs are rated for 7,500. This is rated for more than that still. So this has a nice, hefty tow rating. Where that can be really nice is, let's say you've got like an enclosed car hauling trailer, or you know, a race day trailer, something like that, or horse trailers. Horses add up to a lot of weight very quickly. Not to mention, it is nice to have a coach in front of that trailer that, even though the trailer has its own brakes, the coach can really help bring everything down to speed. We have 22.5-inch Michelin tires on these things, by the way. Also, they have all air brakes on this, and up front here, I think I can actually get you a little peek at the Sachs shocks. That is S-A-C-H-S. You see that black vertical bar right there? Well, what that is doing is helping soak up those little rumble strip kind of jolts when you're going down the road, so that you don't get that big punch in the front end of this thing, so that it just has a smoother, more comfortable ride and handling, which is a big deal with Jayco. This has their J-Ride Premium package, which has things that many of the other Jaycos don't. If I remember, I'll put you some notes on screen so I'm not just bogging you down with technical details right here. The entry actually has triple power steps because this is on a bigger chassis. It does ride higher. And I want to dispel a myth that I hear put out there sometimes from other manufacturers. I have been at an event where I just listened in from across the hallway, basically, where a manufacturer other than Jayco, some other guy making motorhomes, said, "You don't want one of those, because look at that, where the wall stops, the cab, the overhead cab area right there, that bunk is just hanging out over nothing." That is completely not true, and where you can actually see that is a little more obvious in person, but this is a cap, and that is a cap over the wall. That wall extends under that cap up and all the way under here. So there is no area on these sidewalls here where it's unsupported by the strength of the laminated wall. Let's just dispel that myth. Also, are you noticing where the seams are located? Jayco's awesome about this. They put the seams in low stress, low air points so that you don't have to worry about your seams, like, you know, wearing out or something like that. It's just funny how those little things make a big difference over time. And just in case you're curious, my wacky camera work right now, I am literally Disney on ice over here. Whoa. It literally, as I say, I literally almost took a dive, guys. That would have been perfectly timed. I'm glad I didn't, though, because that would have hurt. In the window there, on the entry door, you see that 2+3 year sticker. That is something that is very uncommon. That's just Jayco across the board does their 2+3 year warranty. Not a lot of that happens in the towable or motorized industry. That is a very uncommon thing in the RV world. Now, like a lot of painted RVs, this has a paint by a company called Sickens. And the cool thing about Sickens paint is it can adhere to anything. Wood, fiberglass, doesn't matter. It stays on there. And the paint package on this is going to leave this RV looking amazing for years. There are several different paint packages available on this. I'm going to see if I can put samples of those up in the sky at this point in the video. Once again, assuming I don't forget. If I do, though, that is going to be rather humorous. I'm going to Disney on ice my way back up here and take a look at the outside entertainment. Let's crack open all that tasty storage, baby. So to begin with out here, we have our outdoor entertainment center, and this is a true separated entertainment center. This is not at all connected to what's going on inside of the coach. It has its own exterior, like stereo, DVD, speakers, all that kind of stuff. And it's under one of those like nice aircraft latches, so you know you can make sure that that is a nice sealed compartment when you are rolling down the road in the rain. And speaking of compartments, the hardware on these baggage doors, it feels like something straight out of a diesel pusher. Because, I mean, frankly, this shares a lot of similarities with a lot of diesel pushers. Now, a Super C is certainly its own entity, you know, something like that. But there are a lot of similarities, and higher grade, more premium things, like the nicer struts, the better clips, the doors that don't flip up and down and fall when you know, the struts wear out or something like that. This is something that is built, and it's built to be used, and built to be used a lot, and to stay together. Now, what we're looking at here, this is a 12-volt little fridge thing that you can mount in the basement of this on the slide-out tray. That is an optional piece of equipment on this one right here. I really love that. I love having things like drinks outside so that you don't necessarily have to constantly go trucking in and out of the RV. To me, it just makes a ton of sense. Although, if you think about where the entertainment center is on the inside of this one, compared to the entry door and the refrigerator, what's also kind of cool is if you do hop in and out, like maybe you're doing some cooking or some prep work or something like that, you're not like disturbing everybody, as it were. Looking through here, giving you a nice little look at all the various compartments, very similar to like a kind of like a bigger Class A. You saw in the front two primary storage compartments, there's like a pass-through over the hump where the drivetrain is located. Because this is not actually a pusher, it may share some qualities, but because we have a front engine and a drivetrain running all the way through, they're not able to fully open that up, you know, for like pure storage, although, man, that would be cool. That being said, given the size of the RV, they have capacity here and ability to put some pretty decent outside storage on it. One thing I forgot to talk about on that main patio awning is it actually has like a protective wrap on it. So when it is rolled up like this, the actual awning fabric is not being exposed to weather, which is very cool. The cap on the back of this looking awesome. Once again, these are like if a common Class C just doesn't have the tow capacity you're looking for. I've talked to some folks who do things like antique tractor shows, and they're like, you know, I looked at a normal Class C and it just, they can't tow what I need them to tow. Sometimes when I go to these auctions or something, I get a tractor that weighs 12,000 pounds. Well, a normal Class C is not going to get the job done. This one, however, will. We will, well, you know what? It's snowy and icy. I don't think I'm going to be able to get you up on that roof. Maybe I'll climb the ladder and just kind of peek over the edge. That, by the way, is something I want to point out on this. Tankless water heater, on-demand water heater, so that, you know, you want to spend some serious time in this. I could see this being just an amazing full-timer, snowbird, sunbird traveler, or just an extended season kind of thing. Being able to stay in it for a while, take some hot showers or back-to-back showers or something like that. Or if you're using that front cab, like you're using it as a family rig, because it does have the extra sleeping capacity. That on-demand water heater is not something you're going to regret having. And right away, we open this rear door. Boom! Look at this beast. 8,000 Awning diesel generator back here. This will run anything, everything you want, anywhere, anytime you want on this coach. That is a big chunk of machinery right there. Again, something very similar to what you'd find on a larger pusher, you know, not a common 5500 Awning. Nothing wrong with that, just this RV is bigger. It has a more advanced power system. It needs more juice, and it is equipped to be able to provide. One of the other things on here is that this does have the Seneca macerator system. That is basically, it's got its own sewer hose effectively built in. That's a little gray handle job right there. If you are not familiar with that, this is the most oversimplified, but frankly painfully accurate answer I can give you on that, or description as it were. It's a garbage disposal for your black tank. So, you know, things go down the sink and you flip the switch and, you know, that's exactly how that goes, by the way. I looked up a video on YouTube. I double checked. It will grind up all the solid matter in your black tank and allow it to power exhaust it quicker and more easily. It also can actually pump uphill a little bit because, again, it is a power exhaust, which I think is yet another really cool feature on that. The couple of my customers have referred to it as the turbo crapper. Their words, not mine, although I obviously love that phrase. Now look at this. You have, what, 4 6-volt AGM batteries, 220 amp hours. I mean, you've got, and because they're AGM, they are as close to like maintenance free as a battery can really get. If you're not regularly using the RV, this thing is, you know, the batteries aren't just going to die and decay on you, especially considering this does have a 190 watt roof solar panel standard on it. Once again, in a minute here, I'm going to see if I can just at least peek over that roof line and give you a look at it. I know a lot of people say, well, why don't you have a drone? I've got so much equipment that I juggle and so many different things that I do. If all I did was record videos and I didn't have to stop and edit, and if I wasn't also social media managing or something like that, maybe. But I've just got a little too much going on. And just look at this thing. There was one other thing I wanted to tell you while I was down here. Oh! 100-gallon single-point fuel tank, meaning you don't have to fill up 2 tanks or cross them over or anything like that. 1 input for fuel. Easy, easy, easy. Actually, I think we're going to get a fairly decent look up here because half of the roof is dry. And what I want to point out here is not the fact that we have the dual 15,000 BTU air conditioners giving us a 30,000 BTU air system, or that 190 watt roof solar panel right there, which obviously we could expand on. One of the cool things, I mean, with the generator and all of the power, I mean, you know, you can always top things off. But if you're looking for more solar, we can do that too. But the fact that we have a one-piece fiberglass roof structure, and again, this is where I'm saying it's kind of diesel pushery in some ways. The way that, you see how that paint kind of wraps over the roof line a little bit? It just gives it a very clean look from the ground level, but our roof is still stark white, which is going to help the RV not soak up extra heat in the summertime, which I think is very important considering you do have those, the darker skin package on the sidewalls, but the roof is absolutely the #1 area that catches the most heat from the sun. So if I'm going to be picky, kind of like I was picky about that one, I'd rather see a light under the TV in the bedroom. Personally, I would rather see these air conditioner shrouds be white. I get that they're doing it with black shrouds because it looks cool from the ground. I am very much a function over fashion person, but this is a very fashionable coach. So I don't know, maybe it's not for me. That's just my personal 2 cents. I kind of like what they're doing over there in those little trailers. Boy, it is so nice, by the way, actually having stuff in stock. Doesn't that look like it used to look again? It's great, guys. So, what do you think? You think you could rough it for a couple days in one of these? Folks, I'd be happy sleeping on the couch. I'll sleep overhead in the cab. I'll sleep on the floor. You want to take me along with you in one of these? I'm on board, for real. Once again, I'll leave you links in the video description. You can see where we have one of these parked, what one of them might be running at a given time. And remember, we can always move our coaches from store to store. So if you know, you see one of these in stock in the Midwest and you're out west or vice versa, give us a call. Let's see if we can play the shell game, get one moved around, and let's get you rolling, guys. I hope you had a good time. This is the first of a lot of motorhomes that are coming. I'm not telling you that I got a flood of them coming tomorrow, but I know folks have been looking for more motorized stuff on this channel for a long time, and it will be coming. Give me a little time and hang with me. This stuff takes a long time to put together. Until next time, though, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like our video, and I just can't thank you enough for hanging out. This was a ball today. Take care, stay safe, have fun, and best wishes from Bishes, everyone.